Hey guys, what's up? It's Jordan here. So we're back for part two of this kind of, I would say, I guess maybe like a three-part series, because first part we were making the wine or the mead. The second part we're basically just transferring this into a new vessel, and the third part we'll be bottling. So this might be kind of like a couple of months video. So to get started,
Take off.
I got all my stuff here. Basically, I already washed and sanitized this, so I'm not going to show you that again, but a quick synopsis of that is hot soapy water, and then if you have it, some Star San. If you haven't picked this up, I highly recommend it, especially if you plan on doing this in the long term. One bottle of this should last you a very long time. I have a small siphon. I have my hydrometer. I have a tube, and then I have my three-piece bubbler and a carboy bung. So basically, what you're gonna do, which I know is probably not the easiest thing for you to see, but so I'll move this over here. All right, so we're moving this stuff over to the sink just because it's gonna be a little easier this way. Now, if you don't have a small siphon like this, you can easily pick them up. They're pretty inexpensive. If you can't do that, if you have a piece of this tube, which you can get this at any local homebrew store or order it online. I'm sure if you order a small 1 gallon carboy siphon, they'll probably also include some tubing with it. I know you probably can't see this very well, but I'm basically just taking the tube and attaching it to my carboy siphon. Alright, so at that point, what I like to do is pump the siphon and basically just kind of extract all of the sanitizer out of the carboy with the siphon, so this way the inside of the siphon and the inside of the tube are nice and sanitized, and then this way. Alright, so basically that's what I like to do is when I fill up my jug with the sanitizer, I take my carboy siphon and my tube, I hook it all up, and then I just siphon out all the sanitizer. So once that's done, we'll get started. In the meantime, if you're using a hydrometer, now's a good time to fill that up some of the way. So take your hydrometer, set that aside. Once your tube is done, we'll move this over to the edge, pop the lid, set it back down. I'm gonna try and hopefully make this video a lot shorter than my last one. So now you're ready. You got everything in place. Take your siphon tube. If you don't have a siphoner, what you can do is you can take your hose, use gravity, so you stick one end of the hose into the bucket, you take the other hose, stick it up top here, cork your end of your tube, and then bring it down, and gravity should do the rest for you. Easier to do it with a siphoner, to be honest with you. But if you don't have that, just like I said, you take your tube, you stick it in the wine, you take the tube, lift it up, hold it up, and then let gravity do the work for you. Obviously, hopefully you know how to do that. So you want to try and keep the hose submerged in the wine Because at this point right now, everything's open, so you're letting in a lot of air and a lot of oxygen. You don't want to oxygenate the wine, just because it'll have like a really stale taste to it. You want to try and keep as little oxygen out of the fermented wine as possible. That's where the carboy, bung, and all that stuff comes into play. So I'm also recording it on another camera down below, so hopefully this is getting it in frame and in focus. So if you're looking at the video of the wine going into the carboy, obviously I basically just dumped out the rest of the sanitizer and then went to town. This is a no-rinse sanitizer, the Star San stuff, so you don't really necessarily have to worry about it being free of foam. I've never had a problem with any sort of, bacterial growth or anything with it, so just keep that in mind. And you'll notice on the bottom of your fermenting vessel, and I'll try and get some video of it for you guys, there will be a lot of sediment. What that is basically dead yeast cells that were eating the sugar and then died. And you try to not get any of that stuff on there, which is what it just did. So normally you want to try and get as little of the sediment in the bottom as possible. So if you're less than a gallon, that's okay. You don't want it to be like super low. So if you can see this. So let's say you only got this much wine in your bottle. You want to try and like fill that. What a lot of people use, and I know it sounds crazy, is they either use marbles or they use fish gravel. Obviously, I know you probably will clean it, sanitize it, but basically what that does is it just kind of fills up space to take up less air. All right, so now at this point, you got your wine in here. If you have a hydrometer, you can go ahead and take a reading. As long as the hydrometer is sanitized, I dump it back in here. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not wasting like a cup of wine or mead. And then you'll go ahead and you'll place your airlock and your carboy bung into the carboy, and you'll let it sit. So I generally let my wine or my meads sit for about 3 to 4 months. Just because you can age it longer than that, but I don't know. I feel that after 3-4 months, it's pretty drinkable. Normally what they call that is bulk aging, so you can age it in bulk, which is basically aging it all together in one vessel and letting it sit for an extended period of time. If you want to do that, you can be my guest. I like to enjoy my beverages in 3 to 4 months. I have let some stuff sit longer, but to be honest with you, I personally really haven't noticed a huge difference. So that's it. If you've made it this far and you have also made a wine with this, basically that's what you do. So clean everything, siphon it from one vessel to another vessel, put an airlock on it, and then you're done. That's it, guys. So we'll catch you next time when we go to bottle this. I'm Jordan. Take it easy. Peace.